Well, it's time for our Africa Health Report, and health correspondent Linord Moudou joins us with some new information on cancer. Hello, Linord.
Hello, Vincent. Hello, everyone. Today is World Cancer Day. It's observed every year on February 4th to raise awareness of cancer and to encourage its prevention, detection, and treatment. In the World Cancer Report 2014, the International Agency for Research on Cancer reveals how the cancer burden is growing at an alarming rate. The specialized agency of WHO for cancer says in 2012, the global burden of cancer rose to an estimated 14 million new cases per year. The agency says the figure is expected to reach 22 million annually within 20 years. The World Health Organization says the deadliest cancers include lung, liver, colorectal, and breast cancer. And a new report in the British Journal of Dermatology says drinking too much alcohol could set off a chain of reactions in the body that makes the skin more vulnerable to cancer. Researchers say after ingestion, ethanol or alcohol is converted to a compound that may render the skin more sensitive to harmful UV light. They looked at 16 different studies involving thousands of participants. They say consuming an alcoholic drink or more a day increases skin cancer risk by a fifth. Risk increased proportionately with alcohol intake. Those who drank 50 grams of ethanol daily, the equivalent of a few strong beers, were up to 55% more likely to develop the deadliest form of skin cancer called melanoma compared with non or occasional drinkers. The authors admit that other forces may also be to blame, such as exposure to the sun without enough protective clothing or sunscreen. And for more insights on cancer, we are joined via Skype from Geneva by Cary Adams, CEO of the Union for International Cancer Control, the leading organization of World Cancer Day. The UICC is a global consortium of more than 470 cancer-fighting organizations in over 120 countries. Mr. Adams, welcome to the program.
Good afternoon. I'm glad to be here.
The theme this year for World Cancer Day says debunk the myth. What are some of the myths that are out there that are really impacting the global fight against cancer?
Oh, there are many, and we're only focusing on 4 this year. One is that we don't need to talk about cancer, which is clearly not true. I mean, you just expressed wonderfully the new data which is available, which is hopefully informing the world on this wonderful day about explaining what cancer is and what the issues are we face. Another myth which we find common around the world is this one that there are no signs and symptoms of cancer, when in fact for many of the cancers there are signs and symptoms, and we find that for many reasons, whatever they be, the individual will occasionally not seek advice when they feel there's something wrong with their body. A third myth, which is common, is that there's nothing really you can do about cancer, it's simply fate, which is not true. There are many things that you can do to prevent the chances of cancer developing during your lifetime. And the last one is really that I'm not entitled, I'm not entitled to have care for cancer, which again is wrong, and that every country has an obligation to provide services to help prevent, early detect, and also to treat cancer. So there's many myths out there many myths that stop people actually addressing it.
Okay, so when we look at the global burden of cancer today, studies show that the numbers are rising, especially in the developing world. To what do you attribute this new trend? And really, what are some of the cancers that we are seeing more frequently now?
Well, the developing world is really of great concern to the cancer community, and a lot of the growth that we're anticipating over the next 20 years, as you articulated through the report from the UN agency, IARC, something like 80% of it is actually generated in the developing world. And in part this is due because we have a population which is both aging and growing, so that is clearly a driver. But also we have a population which is becoming more urbanized and adopting a lot of Western-style lifestyles, which include tobacco smoking, poor diets, leading to obesity. You mentioned alcohol as well. Okay. So a number of the common risk factors are growing at the same time.
Okay, quickly, what do you think should be the focus moving forward in the global fight against cancer? Very quickly.
I think in the developing world that every country needs to assess its own problems and issues it's facing, the types of cancer it has, and develop a national response through a national cancer control plan. And that is probably the best way to address it in the short term.
Great, Mr. Adams. Thank you so much for joining us today.
My pleasure.
And that was Cary Adams, CEO of the Union for International Cancer Control. That's our Africa Health Network report for today. For more health news and developments, be sure to visit our website, africahealthnetwork.com.